We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, a Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundaries. We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love.
For over 85 years, the ministries of the Church of the Larger Fellowship have circled the globe and crossed the walls of prisons. We are a spiritual lifeline for our over 2,000 members in prison, who are also connected to individual Unitarian Universalists through our letter writing ministry.
In our online community, we offer weekly worship, classes, and groups. Our monthly magazine, Quest, supports the spiritual lives of thousands around the globe. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance.
We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship.
We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, known affectionately as The View.
The View is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective.
Since 2013, we have gathered every Thursday from September to June to welcome guests from around the world.
Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond.
We hope that today's show inspires you. We hope it builds your faith and gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life.
Welcome to The View.
Welcome, beloveds. You are back for another fun episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, which we love to call.
Because we are unsupervised.
We are unsupervised. It is just me and DC. Aisha is on vacation, and Dante has some sort of construction going on right outside his window, and could be here and look pretty, and thus enhance our show just by smiling at us. But we wouldn't be able to hear anything that he said over the noise of the jackhammers and whatnot.
Jeez. See, that's city living, man.
It is. You are probably guaranteed in Maine not to have any construction happening outside your window unless you actually arrange it.
Right. Yes. There was some at the end of my road the other day, and I was just like, "What is this? I have to wait 2 minutes to turn right." Grumble, grumble, grumble. You know.
Well, this is your weekly talk show brought to you by the Church of the Larger Fellowship, CLF, our Unitarian Universalist congregation without borders or walls. This is we are nearing the end of season 13, beloveds. This is episode 494 of this talk show. Started 13 years ago by the Reverend Joanna Fontaine Crawford and the Reverend Meg Riley, who thought, "Oh, wouldn't this be cute? Won't it be fun if this lasts 5 or 10 episodes?" And 494 episodes later, we are still talking.
Right. Well,
beloveds,
because it's you and me, Michael. We're exactly.
I was afraid, PC, that when I heard Dante couldn't make it, that if you couldn't make it for some reason, I would have to engage in an hour-long monologue, which I am perfectly capable of doing, but
you're Italian. Sure.
Wouldn't be very entertaining or informative.
I think it might be entertaining after about minute 15 or 20. Because
like, what are they talking about now? So,
right?
So greetings. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino, joining you from chilly, rainy New York, Peekskill, New York, the land of the Kichwawan, Wappinger, and Munsee Lenape peoples, about 35 miles north of New York City. We have Seattle weather today, and I would really like New York weather back because next week apparently we're jumping right to
80.
Texas weather. It is going to be beloved 94 degrees here on Tuesday.
Ew.
That is the weather
Ew.
report, and I am not here for that. Not in May. I
Mm.
don't like it in August either, but I understand it in August. I really.
But
I would
in
like,
May, it's just somebody's just showing off and kind of being a prick about it. Yeah.
And here in New York, I right before the show had one eye tuned to this screen where my oldest nephew is graduating today from the Tisch School of the Arts at New York University. So NYU graduation is happening right now and is being live streamed on Facebook Live. So I've been watching the academic processional come into Yankee Stadium, where NYU graduation happens, and I've been joking for weeks. Well, DC, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then I'll tell you my NYU graduation joke.
Sure. I'm Reverend DC Fortune, he, him pronouns. I am here I serve the First Universalist Church, Unitarian Universalist of Auburn, Maine, which is located on the banks of the Androscoggin River here in Auburn. Androscoggin River, named for or by the people who originally inhabited this world, this area, before white people came and decided it was theirs. And yeah, we've got the same sort of crappy weather. But right now, my congregation is preparing. We've got a big memorial service coming up this Saturday. And so I've got people outside in the fog and kind of want to be drizzle, like sweeping sidewalks and doing mulch things and scraping, the winter's sand and salt out of the parking lot so that it looks spiffy and shiny for all the people who are going to come this. Oh!
Well, you and I.
See, that's where our weather went.
That's
where our weather. I don't want your weather.
Weather.
Come get it. It's yours.
It is sunny in Seattle. Thank you, Leilani.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you come get your weather and give us ours back.
So it's drizzly and foggy for NYU graduation, and I've been wondering why NYU graduates, and there are about like 10,000 NYU graduates because it's all of the schools, the undergraduate schools, the graduate schools, the everything, one graduation ceremony. Why they each only got 2 tickets to graduation in Yankee Stadium, which holds 55,000.
Right.
And I figured like at least they could have given them 4, right? Because I thought all the graduates would be like out on the infield. On the infield, and right. But apparently Yankee Stadium, the Yankee Stadium grounds crew is not about to have New York University fuck up their lawn. You can mark it 1208.
1208, Michael. Wow.
So absolutely no part of this graduation ceremony is taking place on anything green. Right?
So what are they doing?
So the graduates are on the lower level of the seats, and the families are on the upper 2 levels, or the upper 3 levels, right? And no one. So the main ceremonies are taking place from like right around second base on the dirt.
And you have to walk to first base and then second base to pick up your diploma. Is that
the widest part of the dirt, right around second place, is where the academic processional, and all of the people have had to walk up the dirt on the side, and
on
then
the first and third base lines,
and then in from the side from first and third bases, and it's like it has cracked me up. It has absolutely cracked me up.
Well, I mean, there's graduation and then there's baseball. Like, you got priorities.
Well, and it's a Major League Baseball stadium, so I'm glad that baseball is the priority. But I forgot just how.
Couldn't they do it at Madison Square Garden? That's got to hold something similar, right?
Madison Square, yeah, probably 30,000 in Madison Square Garden. But I would imagine they could have done it in Madison Square Garden, and then the graduates would have all fit.
Right. And their families, and nobody would have got rained on.
I don't know. And Madison Square Garden is also closer to the NYU campus than the Bronx.
Whatever, like weird.
I'm not in charge of this. I imagine like actually having it at Yankee Stadium is a big deal.
I know that years ago in the dark ages of sports, I view from a Boston lens, but I know that the Celtics and the Bruins both played in the same week at Boston Garden. Right. So they had the ice down.
And the Rangers and the Knicks do the same thing.
Right. And they just put a floor down over it.
Yep.
And if they can manage to put down the Boston parquet over the Bruins ice, you'd think they'd be able to do something.
Oh, they could absolutely do that, because then there would be a concert too.
Yeah.
In the middle of all that at the Garden.
Yeah, we had Jimmy Buffett come to Boston back in 2004. I mean, that's what helped us beat the Yankees in the playoffs. But
they can absolutely do that. It probably takes them 10 hours to like reconfigure the
right, yeah.
Floor. But they do it all the time. And so I don't know why they pick Yankee Stadium for this, but like I thought, like ceremonies in center field and
that would be so awesome, right?
Right? But they will not let them step on the grass. Right, to the point where the little strip of grass next to first and third base is where people are walking in. They are not letting them step on grass, and it's just it is just amusing to me.
Oh my word!
But my nephew Cameron will soon officially have his bachelor's degree from NYU. So my brother and sister-in-law are there at Yankee Stadium, and they sent us all the link to watch it on Facebook Live. Well, DC, there are 79 people currently watching, because you can see on Facebook Live how many live viewers.
Sure, yep.
There's 79 viewers currently watching on Facebook Live. And four of those 79 are me, my parents, my sister-in-law's parents, and my sister-in-law, who is there, but still on Facebook Live. And so my nephew is well represented.
I guess. Wow.
Apparently it's sunny and hot in Southeast Texas.
Well, it's Southeast Texas. That's what it does.
But it should be, and it's going to be that here. We're getting Texas weather next Tuesday in the Northeast, and I don't like it.
You know what it is here though? Like coming home, like so for those who may not be aware, there was a retreat for the members of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee out in San Diego last week before, I don't know, February, March, like time is squishy.
So I actually got to be in 3 dimensions with these.
Right? Oh my God. We actually got to hug. It was amazing. But I took the train from Boston to San Diego and then home again. And it was fascinating to see the changes in foliage as I came through, because, coming through Kansas, everything was up and blooming and being planted and doing all the things. And then I got to New England, and then I saw like in the southern parts, like down Connecticut-ish, like there were, well, not Connecticut, but Western Massachusetts, like the forsythias are doing their things, and the azaleas are doing their thing. And those are the only 2 blossoming tree, shrub, plant things that I know to name, except lilacs, but they're next month. But it was interesting to see that as I got further north. And so right now I got a text from a friend of mine yesterday saying it's fiddlehead season in Maine. And for those who are unaware, fiddlehead season involves the very early sprouts of the ostrich fern, which come up and look like tiny little scrolled up fiddleheads. And when they're about that big, you go and you spend a day bent double in the woods next to a river, picking these things out of the ground. And then you bring them home and rinse them off and get all the little fuzzy leaves and stuff off, and you cook them, you steam or saute or whatever. but they are a wonderful forage vegetable that is available all over. Any place where you've got like sort of a floodplain next to a river, that's kind of where they hang out. And they're just delicious. They're like something between, texture-wise, something between like really tender asparagus and flavor-wise between asparagus and like really fresh string beans, like from the garden.
Yeah, with a little nuttiness to them.
Yeah. Oh man, the best. So yeah, I've actually got a gully behind my house that I'm going to go inspect as soon as it stops raining.
Yay. Well, I hope you find some fresh fiddleheads.
Oh man,
have a yummy.
It has been too long since I have had fiddleheads.
So, yeah, I'm probably soon to be morel mushroom season too, because
yeah, I don't know enough. Yeah, I don't. Foraging for mushrooms has always caused me concern because like everything's edible, but not everything is edible twice.
Morels are easy to tell. There's nothing that looks like them that is poisonous.
Okay.
So if you know a morel, you have places to find them, they are pretty easy. At least I don't think there's anything that looks like them that's poisonous. Like, do not consider my gastronomic advice to be legally binding.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, everything's edible once. Some things are edible twice. You know. I mean, it's real. Oh, can I eat these? Absolutely. Will it? Well, you didn't ask if it would kill you or make you sick. Yes, you can eat them. Do you want to do something tomorrow? Is the question.
How much do you like moving?
Right? Like, yeah, I mean, but yeah, so, but it's like when it stops being like Seattle out there, it's got that great smell of new grass, not the trees, because they're just being obnoxious and making me sneeze, but the smell of new grass. Oh man.
Well, our trees here, we are well past forsythias and lilacs. The iris is in my front yard.
Lilacs? You're past lilacs?
Lilacs are done here.
What?
They were glorious for about 2 weeks.
They only come here in June, really.
They are done here, at least around my house. And the irises in my front yard are blooming.
Oh, nice.
This season. And if you follow my garden, my entire front yard becomes a carpet of purple.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
During iris season. So,
yeah. This is my first springtime in this house. Right. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Right now.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, my relationship with outside flowering things is benevolently laissez-faire. Which means they've got a better shot at survival if I don't touch them. Okay? And so, and this is my first spring in this house. I bought this house and moved in last year in October, November.
That was yesterday morning in front of my house.
Oh, my good word. Would you look at that? That's gorgeous.
For those of you who are looking at the view, you can see some lavender irises.
Yeah. So I know I've got lilacs by the front door because that is a standard Maine thing.
Yep. Which you barely need to do anything to.
Right. Huh?
Which you barely need to do anything to.
No, you don't. You just like you make sure you trim them back around the edges so they don't take over. But yeah, other than that, you just leave them be. But in Maine, historians who are looking at where towns and villages used to be, you can look around and find the cellar holes, which were made out of fieldstone, and you could find the road by figuring out where the lilac was and where the apple tree was, because most homes had a lilac bush by the front door, and the apple tree was in the backyard. And apple tree or trees, because everybody had fruit trees because it was nutrition.
Sure.
It was food and nutrition. And so the fruit trees would be in the backyard, but the lilacs were always out front. And so that's how you knew in this middle of the woods something where you come across, 3 or 4 cellar holes, and you're like, okay, clearly there was a village here once. Which way is, towards something else? And you could find that by.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that great? Yeah. So, but yes, I am, and my lilac is by my front door, which I don't use, but because Maine. That's only for decoration. My aunt's house was like that too, growing up. Like, I don't even, like, we opened that door once a year or something, or if we had to get a piece of furniture upstairs. But anyway,
when we moved in to our house, there's a little path that goes along the side of the house from the end of the driveway to the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
A little path and a tiny backyard. And there's a lilac. There's a lilac in the backyard, right on the fence line. Because everything is right on the fence line in my tiny backyard.
Right.
And there was
you stand there and touch the fence line almost.
There was a thing. I'm going to call it a thing, a shrubbery.
Okay.
A mixed shrubbery. We'll call it.
They can do that. Shrubberies can have mutts.
If you plant things too close together, they grow into one giant clump of mess.
Oh, cool. So what happened? What was this thing?
And one of the things clumped in this shrubbery was clearly a lilac that wasn't blooming because the other thing planted in it was strangling it.
Oh dear, that's unfriendly.
So we spent some time sort of untangling them and cutting all of the things that weren't lilac, and then following them down to the roots and digging up those things and leaving the lilac intact.
Okay.
And so now there is a lilac. A
much happier lilac, I imagine.
Much, and so this is what that lilac looks like now. Well,
oh my God,
this is what that lilac looked like on April 26th.
Oh, for the love of Pete, would you look at that? My God, yeah, mine
glorious. Yes, it is much.
Yeah, mine. They're still we're just not quite entirely leafed out in the trees and shrubs department here. So I expect next week after, 1st of June, that's when we'll get lilacs here. So, and you're looking like we've got a comment?
We've got a comment from Leilani about using the back door. So,
I'm just not going to go there.
We're going to leave the innuendo.
We're going to leave that right there.
Dirty minds. In the collective dirty minds of you.
Yeah.
Which are now, within an order of magnitude of the viewers of NYU graduation, which is funny.
Oh God.
So, usually we do some sort of like Unitarian Universalist roundup. What's going on in Unitarian Universalism?
Well, we've got the slate has been announced for leadership, national leadership, for the elections that happen at General Assembly each June.
Sure.
This year, our General Assembly will be online with regional in-person events, because people have been really, really clear, because I was on the planning committee last year for GA. And people have been really, really clear that they really prefer to see each other in person. And I think this has become...
Bless their hearts.
Right? And I think this has become more intense of a need since COVID.
I understand that.
I
understand it. I don't share that need, but I understand it. No.
Yeah, no, I absolutely have that need. Absolutely.
I have a need to see people. I just don't want to see them at business conferences.
Oh, you want to see people and have fun?
Yeah, the retreat for the Ministerial Fellowship Committee was nice because we did training during the day, and I
told outrageous stories in the evening.
I purposefully co-created the agenda with my co-chair so that we didn't have anything business to do. in the evening, and we
Good.
could just sit at the fire pit and be with each other and laugh.
And didn't we laugh?
Oh my God, yes. So like that time I need, and
Right.
there's some of that at General Assembly. But to me, the thing that makes General Assembly special is seeing the people who live far enough away that I wouldn't see them
Right.
at a regional gathering.
GA is Pride for use.
Yeah.
Like there are people I only ever see at Pride, right? At the Pride March or the Pride Rally or the parade or whatever, right? There are people I only see there.
Sure.
And in Maine, we have this thing called the Maine Common Ground Country Fair. There are people I only see at that fair. That's when I see them once a year.
Right. And so if they said this year the Maine Common Ground Country Fair is going to be online, but each town is going to have their own country fair on someone's front lawn, you'd go, F that, probably.
Maybe.
Like, because you actually want to see the people that you only see at the fair.
That's true.
And so that's the way I feel. Like, I love that they're trying new things. I love it. I love that they're innovating and experimenting and trying things, that they're trying satellites, that they're trying regional gatherings. I love it. I am 150% in favor of it. I will not say anything bad about the existence of these things. And I would rather like have my eyes gouged out than have to attend one.
Really?
That's like this is a me personal thing.
Wow.
This is like an absolute me personal thing. Like I will gleefully go to General Assembly every other year in person, and I will attend the business online in the off years because I think it's important to in the democratic process. But like I don't actually need something to get together with strangers. Like I don't need that part of it. Like I need to see you, and you and I wouldn't go to the same regional one. And I need to see Allison, who's in San Diego, and Darby, who's in Texas, and we wouldn't go to the same regional ones, right?
And Lilani, who's in Seattle or something.
Seattle, right? So, like, you're the people I want to see. And like, if I wanted to get together with folks who lived in New Jersey, I'd just call them up and invite them to lunch, which I do every now and then.
I was going to say, which I was in New Jersey for 5 years, and once we had lunch, Michael.
Well, you were in.
Well, I was down in Delaware.
3 hours to get to you, New Jersey.
Well, yeah.
To be clear.
But still.
But we did, and then there was this thing that none of us left our house for 2 years.
Well, there's that.
And as soon as we left our house, you and I had lunch.
Absolutely. That is true.
As soon as we were allowed out of our house, like when the
we had lunch.
Was ending, I drove 3 hours to South Jersey and had lunch with you.
I drove north. I think we met near Murray Grove.
Well, I drove to South Jersey and you drove north from Bumblefuck. And we met somewhere that was like 2 hours south of me and an hour and a half north of you. And it was pretty ridiculous, but it was a nice lunch, and I would.
That's true.
Always.
It's always.
So yeah, I'm glad GA is happening. There is one contested election because one person is running by petition for a board seat, and people have their knickers in a twist over that. Like people are allowed to run by petition for whatever reason they want.
Yeah.
For whatever reason they want, and this is someone who has served capably in Unitarian Universalist leadership for many years. And some people think maybe it's time for you to step back and let others step back. I understand that thought. And some people think, well, there are lots of newbies on the board, and it's actually nice to have someone with
institutional memory.
And I understand that too. And I am not getting in the middle of it. I'm not getting in the middle of it. Really have their knickers in a twist about the existence of a petition candidate.
No, I don't think they have their knickers in a twist about the fact that there is a petition candidate. I think they have their knickers in a twist because that this is a person who applied through the nominating committee and was not chosen for the slate, and so decided.
But the whole do we trust the nominating committee? Yeah, I mean, I do. I do trust the nominating committee. I've been on enough of them.
Right. Yeah.
They work really hard.
And there were the reason that they did not get chosen was that there was an enormous familial conflict of interest. Anyway,
maybe. And people can make their mind up about that too. I mean, and to be clear, his daughter-in-law is on the executive staff at the UUA. But they're people can make their mind up about that too, right? Yeah, and that's great.
That's true.
If people had their knickers in a twist about that conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest, I'd understand it. But there's all this oh, you're a white dude running against, and I'm you have to pick a seat that you run for, and he's not running against the younger person running. He's not right. He's running against an
older woman of color.
No, a white lady.
Oh, is it? I thought
no, okay. He's not running against any of the candidates of color, right? I mean, so I'm kind of glad for that. He's not running against the one white guy who was nominated, which okay, we can wonder why he picked that one seat, but he's running against someone who would be new to the board because his case is that we need more institutional memory. And I'll let him make that case, and I'll make my mind up, and I might or might not vote for. I haven't decided who I'm voting for yet.
Right. I haven't had a chance to. I haven't had a chance to really look at the slate of candidates and read all this stuff.
And maybe the View should have both the candidates on before we cast our votes. I don't know. We've sometimes done that. If there weren't 3 weeks left,
right. Jesus,
we certainly do when there's a moderator election or a president.
How do we go from February and March that last for 6 months to April? April, May, June is a week. How does that happen?
I don't even know.
Is that some sort of TARDIS thing where time gets sort of squished? Or
in July and August, when we're supposed to be pausing and resting, will be 6 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just long enough for me to get a sunburn and some mosquito bites, and then it's time to get back to work.
I don't burn that easily, which is nice. That's
fry.
The Italian in me.
My people come from Ireland and Scotland, and we get sun, every couple of weeks, maybe. It never changes. That's the color of my skin. Well, okay, I had to decorate it if I wanted color. But I mean,
Darby says that January 837th was last week, and now
oh God, right? Unless you're a minister, in which case there was a whole week of Lent and Easter, all squished into one. Oh.
Right. So Leilani talks about the affinity groups at General Assembly. And
yes.
Years ago, there was a commission that recommended going to every other year General Assemblies.
Okay.
I was actually on the UUA board when that commission's report came in.
Okay.
And we received the report and read it and thought about whether we wanted to go to every other year General Assemblies. And this was in the days before everyone was facile enough with online media, because none of us had been forced to do it by the pandemic, that online General Assembly every other year wasn't even a thing. We were going to have to amend the bylaws to have General Assembly every other year, and we were willing to go there. But we did our own study that was not just about the governance, because the group that recommended every other year said that our governance could and should be done in every other year increments, which is great, and that's true. It could, it can, and maybe it should. But what the board found out by asking people and listening to them,
What is this ask and listen thing you speak of?
was that there are enough people, disability groups, BIPOC, you use Drum, Trust, who only really have
that one event,
GA, as the time where they have critical mass to gather together.
yes.
And now many of these groups are are having in-person things too, but that adds to the cost.
Right.
And if we alternate years where we do in-person things and the years where we meet at GA, like maybe that becomes more feasible because we can build into budgets an annual cost to go somewhere. But it's GA online is in some ways more accessible, and it is certainly more accessible to many of our disabled beloveds.
Right.
I in years when viruses are running amok, I like not having to get on a plane and go somewhere and be in a room with 3,000 people who are supposed to be masking, who are not really.
Well, until I yell at them.
I do too, but
I had so much fun yelling at people about masks in Pittsburgh. Put on your damn mask. Oh my God.
And I have actually bought a HEPA air filter for the CLF that we can ship to GA and have at our booth.
Nice.
So that like at least the air in the CLF booth can be HEPA filtered.
Right. Like CB Beal does.
Yes. CB, our colleague who is instructing us all on how to actually have healthy air.
CB is the Heather Cox Richardson of COVID.
Yeah.
For
we
real.
should have to be on talking about that at some point. Maybe like as we prepare for in-person General Assembly in San Jose next year.
Right.
To talk about healthy air.
Yeah. So what we were talking about, that stuff and accessibility, and Darby, like, everybody raise your hand at GA in Pittsburgh. And it was my job to I was on the right relations team or whatever it was called. And people were just being kind of dicks about not wearing their masks.
Yes.
And so when I said, everybody raise your hand, and they all raised their hands, and I said, now put it over your mouth, and they put it over their mouth, and I said, if you don't feel a mask, you need to put one on.
Yes, I appreciated that very much as someone who did not get COVID at General Assembly, and a lot of people did in Pittsburgh, not much in Baltimore, but a lot of people did in Pittsburgh.
And 2 years before that in Portland.
Yes, even more in Portland.
Yep.
And I didn't get COVID either time because I wore N94 KN94 masks.
Yep.
And now I have N95 masks, which I'll be wearing in San Jose, most likely. But
one of the things that I wanted to say is, in the GA planning committee group that I was in, and we were talking about going to every other year in person, every other year online. And I explained that I can only stand so many hours of screen time in a day, and connecting to people online does not do it for me. And except for now, I have been in congregations where I was geographically isolated. And so when we had GA in Portland, Oregon, that was the first time I'd had physical touch in years. Like, it was crazy because of COVID, right? And so what I said was, I know what it takes for my soul to get fed, and that is in-person contact. And I have just had to understand that I now get fed every other year, and that on the off years I go hungry spiritually.
So you're not headed to a regional gathering?
Because it's the affinity group stuff, right? And regionally, I'm in New England. Our region's pretty small. You know, there isn't much that isn't a 3-hour drive at the most. You know, I mean, you can drive from Massachusetts through Connecticut and Rhode Island if you do it right in an hour.
Yeah, I'm super good with every other year online. I think it's healthy. I think it's good for our planet. It's good for our budget, and
right. And I understand all of that, and I know that I cannot rely on my denomination to meet my spiritual needs for personal connection, or to provide a vehicle through which I can have that level of personal connection, except for every other year.
Yeah.
And I know that before we went to every other year, there were people who would only attend every other year because of budget reasons, right? I can go this year, but not next year, right? Or I can go this year, and next year, but the year after it's going to be someplace far, far away and I can't afford it. Right? Okay, I get that. But that's no longer a choice.
Yep.
That choice has been removed.
And now we're starting to think about, like, what would it mean to do a gathering for people in CLF, for example, and something that was structured in such a way that people who couldn't afford it could be paid for by people who could afford to pay for someone else.
Right.
For example. So
and Lilani says, if I can, I like to organize a small, accessible, in-person watch party of online things like GA or LaredaCon, even if it's just like 3 of us watching on a big screen, hanging out and chatting. It really meets my needs. Yeah. And I'm thinking about, like, yeah, I don't know.
So what I love is that every other year we get to figure out what does meet our needs and do it. Right? And
you can go to GA, but it's not there.
Short of actually going to GA. And so, like, if you meet 1,000 people, get yourself to Susie this summer. Get yourself to the Southeast UU Summer Institute, where there will be 1,000 people and hugs aplenty and no business. There will be no business. There will be no business. But
where is that?
It's in Radford, Virginia, in Western Virginia. Can
I go to the bathroom there?
You can. There are so many bathrooms, and your dorm room will have its own. So it's on a college campus. It is accessible. It is a flat college campus
in Virginia.
Yeah, I mean the part where Susie is absolutely flat.
Okay.
Like there's you get off the campus and you go downhill to the river. So it does go downhill.
So it's a manufactured flat, but okay.
The campus is manufactured flat, and it is okay. It is not. It's like in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Blue Ridge, which are gorgeous.
Yeah. So
Can
like,
you put a link? Can you put a link about that somewhere in our stuff?
I will. It's susi.org.
Just so that I can click on it and cruise around in there instead of doing work this afternoon.
And one of the wonderful things about Susi is that if you're new, there's a $50 registration discount.
Okay.
And if you're a minister or a religious educator, you automatically get 50% off your first time there.
Ooh.
So you get a 50% staff credit just for showing up as a religious professional.
So, and when does it happen? June, July?
It happens in July. Here, I think it's the 19th through the 25th.
It's my first week back. Damn it.
But like, if it does, it's not going to happen this year. Think about what it might mean to plan for it 2 years from now when there's going to be another virtual General Assembly. And this is what I'm saying. If you need 1,000 people, there are places where 1,000 people gather. And
That's
if
true.
you need to fly across the country, you can fly across the country to Susi. Like, nobody's stopping you.
Except the TSA.
Well, and if you don't want to fly,
you can take Amtrak.
You can take the Amtrak to Roanoke or whatever. It's right next to Blacksburg. If you know where in Virginia that is, and Susi has been at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, which is a much less flat campus, and it's a much larger campus and has many other groups meeting at the same time. And Susi is it at Radford the week that we're there, which is nice. So I'm just saying, we get, and like if having a watch party with 5 of your best friends in a living room meets your needs, then like you can invite
Good
5
for
of
you.
your
Like awesome.
friend who has a big enough and clean enough living room to do that, right?
Oh yeah. I was like, I have a big enough TV, but then you said clean and living room, and I was like, no.
Whatever. Like you can set up the TV next to the forge and like make knives and watch GA at the same time.
That'd be awesome.
Like 3 of your best friends.
Bang, bang,
Whatever.
bang. Yeah.
And no one will tell you to shush because you're making noise.
That's true.
Forge, unless you're unmuted.
Right.
So I think it's okay. It's okay that need is not met for us every year. It becomes a challenge to meet the needs. And actually, I think that Susi is less expensive than GA when it comes down to it, because like your registration includes your housing and your food for the whole week.
Ooh, wow.
And the dining hall, they do an amazing job of meeting different
all our
needs.
Weird dietary things.
Gluten-free, vegan, low salt.
Gluten-free, yeah.
Like they have a gluten-free line in the dining hall that is just gluten-free food on that line, and that if you have celiac, that's the line you head towards.
That you're safe to eat there. Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. Because I will say the food in the exhibit hall is often sort of catch as catch can. Yeah. I mean, every now and then it's like a really great one.
So this is college dining hall food, which is not to say it's like your 5-star gourmet restaurant, but it's good college dining hall food, which means it'll keep you happily nourished for the week.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. And I had where I went to school, we had a really actually pretty great dining service.
Yeah.
They were good. So,
and it's a fairly small university, so it's on the better end of institutional college dining hall food, because the small university,
right? Yeah, they're not trying to feed 4 troop movements.
It's not
for
a
lunch.
Right, or go to Elliott Institute in the Pacific Northwest if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you want to get. It's probably not 1,000 people at Elliott Institute. Or Ferry Beach. Go to a conference at Ferry Beach.
True.
or
Very
Star
big.
Island with a couple hundred people. Yeah, Susie is definitely in driving distance of Pittsburgh.
Stephen Wright said everything's walking distance if you got the time.
And the feet, right?
And the feet, yeah. Everything's driving distance.
Everything is rolling distance. Yeah, I drive there from New York. I drove from North Carolina when I lived in North Carolina. People drive from all over the country to come, including Texas. We have a stalwart contingent who drives up from Texas every year.
God bless him. That's what I want to do in July, is drive across the southern half of the United States. If your car
has air conditioning, it's nicer in the car than it is outside.
That is true. That is true.
And the weather in Western Virginia is usually not oppressively hot the third week of July.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the mountains. It's not cold, but it's usually not oppressively hot. It can be. I'm not.
I remember it got oppressively hot in 2015 in Portland, Oregon. I dressed for Portland, Oregon weather, and I got there and it was like 85 and humid the whole week, which I thought was, well, like I just want the stuff that's in the brochure.
Yeah.
Right. Like we went to San Diego and we got 70 degrees on our last day there. I was like, California, your weather's broken.
Jackets and pants to sit around the fire.
Yeah, we did.
It was chilly.
And fuzzy socks
in San Diego. So.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. I thought I might write to Gavin Newsom and tell him his weather was broken, but he seemed to be kind of busy. So.
Yeah, he's busy like chasing homeless people and throwing trans folks under the bus. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If I had to complain, I'd probably be on a list that I'm not already on or something.
The do not California list.
Right. So anyway, we've just had a Tom and Ray Magliozzi moment. You've wasted another perfectly good hour. But really, we got 8 minutes left. Like, I feel like we should have talked about something, I don't know, more substantial than grumbling about the weather.
We talked about preparing for General Assembly and gathering to meet our spiritual needs. We talked about very important things, DC. Flowers, the irises and the lilacs and the forsythias. And what's blooming in Texas now, Darby? We don't know. The snowballs are blooming in Seattle. Wayne told us.
Right.
It's
coming through on the train. There was snow in Colorado. In one part of it.
So the train it goes through the Glenwood Valley, that kind of thing, into Denver?
I'm not exactly sure. I took a train from Boston to Colorado that went along Lakeshore, that went like Schenectady, Albany, Schenectady, Rochester, and then down to Chicago. And then from Chicago, we went over to Kansas City, which is in Missouri, which I never quite understood. But, and then across and down into Colorado. I think we stopped at Salt Lake City and then I know we hit Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque. And then we came into LA eventually. But that happened, that was like overnight. That's when I was asleep. So I don't know exactly.
Well, they saved the desert for overnight.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them out there. Whew.
Well, I get to be in the Rocky Mountains in 6 weeks. So
cool. I mean, we went through
some of them, right?
Bluebonnet season has passed, but there are lots of wildflowers, irises this week in the neighborhood, and some beautiful mums. Now mums here are a fall
Yes,
flower.
here too.
So yeah, but it was just fascinating to watch the color palette change of the geography. Yeah, that was cool. One of the things that threw me is I forget how hot mountains are. Right, got out in Albuquerque, and I was like, I can't breathe.
Mm.
Right, because I live at sea level. And Albuquerque, at first I said there's no air. Well, no, there's air. There's just no oxygen.
Yeah, it'll take a day or two for me to get used to breathing in Colorado.
Oof. Yeah, no, I went to Colorado once for like 3 days, and by the end of it, I was starting to get nosebleeds and headaches all the damn time. I could not stay hydrated. Go up 3 steps, thought I was going to have a stroke. So yeah, no, I am a sea level kid. I tell you what.
All right, beloveds. Thank you for being with us for an hour.
Wasted another perfectly good hour.
Next week, I think we're gonna do our monthly theme conversation. Our theme this month is justice.
Nice.
Hopefully, we'll have all 4 of our hosts to have that monthly theme conversation.
That'd be great. It feels like we haven't all been in the same room in a while.
We haven't,
even like
life
virtual
happens.
room. Yeah, that'll be cool. All right.
Alicia will be back from vacation, and hopefully the construction outside Dante's window will be over. And we hope to see you all back here next week.
Yeah. Be well, stay safe, folks. Stay safe.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to everyone who gives generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible.
Visit clfuu.org/give to make a contribution.
We hope you will join us next week for another episode of the Voice